Welcome to episode 54 of the SNLF podcast, sponsored by New Style Apparel. And we appreciate that we're here on a Thursday evening instead of a Wednesday. But as Gaz was a little bit too scared to present it on his own on a Wednesday evening, he had to wait for me to get back from Las Vegas today to put in a Thursday. And oh, no, very nice, Gaz. Very nice. Very nice. You've been probably waiting all week to play that, haven't you?
Yeah, I literally have. Yeah.
Superb. Well, as Mike said last week, the show has to go on, and our thanks to our stand-ins last week, Monty Watson-Price from Roffey and Andy Philpott from Storrington. I don't know if you've listened to it, Gaz, but I had to listen on the plane and that, and both really great stand-ins. Really, I might have to replace a couple of people, I think, with them.
Yeah, I'll better up my game then, haven't I?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if there's any room for Chris to actually, get in when he comes back from, from Mexico. But we'll see how it goes. I've got coffee this evening, literally because I flew in from Las Vegas this afternoon. I haven't been in Dallas and Vegas for a week to celebrate my 50th birthday. I've been up for around about 36 hours, so I've gone coffee instead of squash this evening.
Or beer,
which is most needed, but. I'll say, as we appreciate, obviously, a lot of the clubs are training this evening, so we're not expecting massive great numbers. But of course, as usual, the audio will be out on straight after this evening, so I'll be ready for you Friday morning. So, bearing in mind, we were what's the word? Not difficult to get guests, because the guy I've got joining us this evening is someone I've known for a long while, and he's always been available for interviews, for podcasts, whenever. And as luck has it, his team doesn't train on a Thursday evening because they train during the day all week long. So really great to have on this evening Eastbourne Borough's new assistant manager, Hugo Langton. Hugo, welcome back to Sussex.
Thank you, Trev, and welcome back to England from Las Vegas. I hope you won a few quid.
Well, as it was, I didn't do very well at the roulette wheel, but we did have a little bit of success on the slots. So yeah, we did come away with a few winning tickets, which I'll post up as well. But yeah, certainly celebrated in style, so to speak. So anyway, great to have you back in Sussex. Obviously, I know you're Kent based as well, so it's a little bit close to home, where you were before, and we know you've obviously done a few jobs with Tommy up at Kings Lynn. You've been at Aldershot and possibly one or two other clubs and projects as well. What kind of prompted Tommy to go into Eastbourne? Because it's obviously not in the greatest shape.
Well, you'd probably have to ask him that question. But look, he made a decision to step away from Aldershot, and it was quite funny, really, I suppose, because I heard him say to his wife, book us a week away in Spain or Portugal. So that's where he was heading for a break with his wife. And I think when Aldershot announced that he was leaving, I believe that again, this is I can't know for sure, but my understanding is that when the club put out that Tommy was resigning from Aldershot, Eastbourne contacted Aldershot just to say, look, can we speak? Is there any reason we can't speak to Tom? And I believe he met them the day after and agreed to become their manager. So I think it happened pretty quickly. So, but to answer your question, look, Eastbourne is a club with a lot of ambition. It's a club that wants to do things, and that so look, the team that was bottom of the league, well, certainly I walked in last week, and but there's a lot of potential there, and there's a lot of work to do, but the owner and the CEO are very serious people. They want to do, and when I have along with Robbie Blake now, we're very serious about what we want to do. So let's see what we can do.
Absolutely. And, if you look at the track record as well,
delay, isn't there?
There is a little bit, but that's fine. Don't worry. if you look at as well, like, you know, the past jobs that you guys have had together, you turned Kings Lynn around, you turned Aldershot around, took them to Wembley last year as well. It kind of looks as if Eastbourne are in really good hands going forward if you can replicate some of that, you know, on the sunny south coast.
Well, the first time I worked with Tommy was at Eastbourne, quite a long time ago. That's where we first worked together. But the club's a very different place to what it was then as what it is now. And that's not a slant at anybody in the past, is that the club's just got a different maker about it now. And that's pretty exciting. So, yeah, look, if we, as I said, there's a lot to do, work to do, but, you know, we'll back ourselves to make a fist of go at it. And it's been an enjoyable opening week or two for me as well. So I've been very, very welcome, you know, by the players, the supporters, and the everyone behind the scenes down there. So, like I said, it's a really different place now, and it's got a really nice. It's got a really kind of good feel to it. It's hard to explain, but it's a weird thing to say when you're bottom of the league, or we're bottom of the league. I think winning Saturday took us off the bottom. But yeah, so yeah, listen, it's not gonna happen overnight, but you know, hopefully for the longer term. So we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, like you say, definitely an interesting couple of weeks from you going from losing 7-0 at Torquay to then thumping Hampton and Richmond 6-0 at home. How does the dynamics for that work during the week?
Well, I'm not going to have Torquay on my record because it, you know, was nothing to do with me as such. I actually got myself down there and watched a game from the press box, and I was sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, what have I let myself in for?" Jokingly, but look, I started on the Monday. You know, Robbie Blake is with us as well, who you probably know from his time around Sussex and Hampshire football as well. But listen, he's a top guy. I think it's by me coming into Eastbourne, what it means is that Tom can actually do his job properly now, because he was essentially doing my job, and now he can leave me and Robbie to do our jobs while he oversees it all, which is a great way to work. So I just think, more importantly, like Tommy being able to do his job as the manager, as he likes to do it, and how he's always done it when I've worked with him. I think that's really, really important. And Robbie's a really positive guy. He's a really good coach, and I think we actually bounce off each other on the training ground. And we had a really, really good week last week, and it reflected on the players' performance on Saturday. So we're just trying to replicate that again this week, because, you know, we got a different puzzle to solve on Saturday away at Dorking, who are a very good side and very tough side to beat, especially at their place. So, well, we'll see what happens on Saturday, whether it's reflective or not of our week's training. And I suppose that's how you have to evaluate yourself. So I know the team went there in the FA Trophy before I was there, and I think it was quite a closely fought game. So, and I actually joked to Tommy this morning, this will be his fourth visit to Dorking this season, because we went in pre-season with Aldershot. We then drew them away in the FA Cup, which was our last game with Aldershot, and beat them. So and then they beat Eastbourne in the FA Trophy. So so it'll be my third visit this season and Tom's fourth as an away team.
That's just something, isn't it, as well? And I mean, as you mentioned, you got Dorking away this Saturday as well. And just before we come on air, you know, we were saying you've got Chelmsford, you've got Worthing and Tunbridge within, you know, just this month itself, which are all big games from different ends of the table as well. I mean, it's a very competitive league, as even though when you guys were in the National League at Aldershot, you're constantly looking down and around for players as well, you know, from in and around that level. It's kind of like, though, as you guys have gone in, Eastbourne aren't adrift at the bottom. There are teams that you can catch if you sort of set yourselves mini targets.
No. Tommy's message is always the same to the players every week. So and mine will mirror it. Just go and win one game of football. You know, a lot of people I know will work in blocks. You know, we've got to take X amount of points for the next 3-4 games. We've never worked like that. It's very simple. Just go and win the next game. And if you can't win it, draw it. And then we move on to the next game. Can we go and win that one? So it's only ever really, we only ever really work one game at a time. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes, me personally, I have to look to the game after, just from an analysis point of view, because especially when you go Saturday, Tuesday, which the team's been doing and no doubt will do again at some point. So that's the only time really you look further ahead, because you've got to move very quickly from game to game. So, to answer your question, one game, just win the next game. That's how we've always been. Win one game of football.
Yeah. When Tommy came in, obviously now you're in, and Robbie as well. When he kind of looked at the squad, did he feel there was much he really needed to tinker with?
Well, probably yes. And he probably hasn't finished tinkering with it. So, it was a bit mad, really, because if you look at Eastbourne season last year, I mean, Adam Murray did an incredible job, and we know Adam very well. I think he was like one goal almost away from, or a point, whatever it was, from actually winning the whole thing, to then walk into a situation that's the complete opposite this season. So, it's hard to say, really. It's never fair to comment on what's gone on before you, or previous managers, or whoever it might be. You can only go in and find what you've got, and then you assess the players. What are they good at? What are they not good at? And depending what that is, that's when you choose your formation and your style of play, which is always interesting, because a lot of managers go into clubs and expect the players to adapt to them, whereas really you need to go into the club as manager and staff. You need to adapt to the players, because you need to play in a way that suits them and what they're good at makes sense. And so I know that's what Tom did, and as we always have done at other clubs as well that we've got into, you just adapt to just build from there, and you just get out of what you've got, and then you make improvements as you go. So, but there's some very good players down there that I've never worked with before. Some I have worked with before, but the ones that are new to me, there's a few in particular. There's a young lad called Arthur Grout who's 17. He looks as though he could be blown away in the wind, but he's some player. He's just an example. There's a lot of good players down there, but Tom, being like any manager, you're always looking to try and improve your squad, and if you can improve it and it's within means, then great. That's what he'll do. So, but he's now freer maybe to do that a bit more. Now he hasn't got to do my job as well as his own job.
Okay.
Do you think that one of the key things you've had to do, or Tom's had to do since you come in, is to bring some sort of experience? Because we had Matt Gray on at the beginning of the season, and it was very evident that it was a very, very young side. I think it was
he's a great
youngest. Yeah, he's done. He did what he could, but obviously it's a very young team there, and
of course,
whether adding a little bit of experience to that, I think that's where you're going to potentially have to go in the next sort of few weeks and months to dig in.
Possibly. I mean, Craig Eastman's down there, and he's, he has had a couple of knocks and niggles, but we got him onto the pitch on Saturday, and for me, he was just a head and shoulders above everybody on the pitch because of his experience and understanding of his role and the team and the game and stuff. We've signed Harry Phipps, who's late 20s, who I've known Harry since he was 17, 18. He was with me at Wellings some many years ago, and we had him on loan at Kings Lynn for a month, and so we know him well. We know what he's capable of. Is another coming from Aldershot with Maxi Mullins, and they were Kai was at Chelmsford. Kai Corbett and Maxi Mullins were both with us at Aldershot last season. In fact, Maxi's been there for a few years with it. So they were really important signings. While they may not be like experience, in terms of you're talking about age, what they are is they're lads, including Harry Phipps, that have played for us before. So they kind of know what Tom's looking for from them, and that's invaluable because it helps to speed up. When you've got players who pick what you want, it helps to speed up learning what you want to learn it quicker, understand it quicker, because they're talking to people around them all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary in terms of experience with age, but I think experience of us is probably more important, especially right now.
Yeah, of course. Trevor, you got any more questions?
No, that's why I passed it over to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was asking that one just because it linked in nicely to what you asked. Here you go. My questions aren't probably going to be quite as in depth as Trev's. I like to have a little bit of fun with it. Let's go back. I'm going to try and get you to pick out some moments of your sort of coaching career. What's the most non-league moment of your entire career? The kind that you couldn't explain to someone who's only watched Premier League football.
The most non-league moment?
Yeah.
Crikey.
Because we've all had them, haven't we? Like whether it's a dog running on the pitch or like.
No, I'm not sure really, but I mean, I've earlier on in my coaching career, I worked for managers that I just didn't understand at the time when they were. What they would do was, right, and this is very non-league in my opinion, right? So if you enter the FA Cup, whether it be in the extra preliminary round, first qualifying round, whatever it might be, but when you go in, as soon as you enter the FA Cup in the early rounds, managers stand in front of they stand in front of the team and they go, right, today's the day you give something back to the club. It's payback, right? All these people that do all this stuff, you need to win today. You need to go and bring home however much the prize pot was. You've got to do it, because if you don't, you're going to let everybody down. And anytime anyone ever says that, and I heard it a lot many years ago, you lose, because you put all this unnecessary stress and pressure on people. But to me, there's such a non-league thing to do. All the volunteers and that, who are invaluable. Right? As soon as the manager says you win, it's time you have to give something back to them. They never win, ever. The other team will.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer, to be fair. And obviously, I've never been in that situation. I've only seen it from the outside. But yeah, it seems pretty obvious. You put that much pressure on someone, it's going to go wrong, isn't it?
It all day long.
Yeah. You've seen non-league change massively over the years. What era was the toughest to operate in?
It's hard to say because I've worked at all the different levels within non-league. I think the toughest era would every year it gets better, right? Because it does, because there's more and more clubs have investment, more and more clubs, players that are dropping down the pyramids, because I don't know for sure, but my theory would be that because so many players from abroad go to the top of the game, it pushes everybody else down. So the league better and better and better. It's like there's a huge gulf between the National League and the National League South. I can see that already. Okay, and that's not against the National League South. I would say it actually gets harder every year just because of that. So, and because there's more emphasis on, there's more and more teams in the National League South, for example, that are becoming full time. So the ones that are part time will probably over the season find it harder than the ones that train full time. You'd think. I mean, that's just being logical. But at the same time, I suppose when I started out 20 years ago, sometimes something to be in, as it were, because there wasn't money, there wasn't any resources, and when the teams that did have manager Horsham, for example, I £500 a week, all in, okay, whereas every other team had way more. It's not always about money. It helps, but if you have a good training ground, which I did at Horsham at the time, it makes life hard. So, and that was probably 2012, around that time. That was tough, but it was great fun, and Horsham's a great club, and I'm so pleased that they've gone on to achieve what they've achieved. And Dom's a great guy, and You know, I went to watch them play a couple of weeks ago, and I'd been to Horsham's new ground before, and impressive, big crowd, and yeah, I wish them well. Apart from when we played them, of course.
Look, I think that's it for me. I think you've come on, you've given a great account of yourself and a great account of why you've gone back to Eastbourne Borough. I used to work with them as a supplier a few years ago, and know Simon, I know Alan very well. Both really honest guys. Both really honest.
Yeah, great guys. Yeah, very positive guys. Yeah, really positive, enthusiastic. They've got a lot of energy. They've got great intentions. I don't know them very well yet, but I'm sure I will over time, and I'm looking forward to get to know them.
The one thing that stood out about both of them to me is they don't polish a turd. Like, if it's shit, then it's shit, and they'll tell you it's shit. They won't sugarcoat it, and I like that as a person. I'm not sure what it's like to work for them. But
well, they seems to me they're happy to take accountability for themselves. I suppose you to be successful in life, you have to be able to look in the mirror and go, I made an error there, but what they clearly are is that they're very big on looking after the players, you know, without mollycoddling them. But Simon seems to me like a guy that if he's investing in you as a player, for example, then he's investing in you as a person.
Yeah,
not just as a footballer, but he wants you to do well in life, you know, and that's quite a unique thing. You know, I've not seen that at any other football club I've ever been at, really. They just run like, okay, well, we're hiring you, you got to win the football, which is correct, because that's what the game's about. So it's about winning. But they seem to have like I said, like they're investing in you as a footballer. They want to invest in you as a person and get the best out of you as a person. So when you leave the club, whenever that might be, that you leave with opportunity, whether it be you're going to a better place or leaving because you just leaving, but that you have opportunity in life. Do you know what I mean? And that's quite a remarkable thing to do. But you know, I think it's that's what I've seen. And the vibe, you know, the feeling and the vibe, to quote my daughters, the vibe that I get from them. So, yeah, as I said, it's a very different club to when I was there before, you know. So I'm really excited about it, actually, because people would have raised some eyebrows that you leave a National League club to go to the bottom of the National League South, you know. Tom just felt his time at Aldershot had, you know, his course. As I said, he was off on holiday, and then all of a sudden something comes up, and you look at it, and you think, well, from his point of view, well, that's an exciting project, isn't it? So, and that's down to Simon and Alan.
It's got to be an exciting project to skip a holiday. It's got to be an exciting project to skip a holiday to Spain or Portugal and end up in Eastbourne, isn't it?
Well, yeah, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's a big challenge, you know, but everywhere we've gone has been a challenge. Even when we went to Aldershot, it was a big challenge. Kings Lynn was a big challenge. Just the way it is. Maybe one day someone will hire us where they're, you know, where they're already, you know, in a great place, you know, with and loads of money and flying and etc., and like the best training facility. You know what I mean? So, you know, but yeah, it's this. When we went into Kings Lynn, that was really tough, by the way, because the team had like 7 points in like half the season, and we managed to put 30 points on in the second half of the season, and unfortunately we got relegated. But you know, you kind of thinking, well, had we turned up the week or two before, we might have just done it, you know. But it's a weird thing to say, even though we got relegated at Kings Lynn, but we went in and they had 7 points in 21 games. I'm really, really proud of what we did in that second half of the season to be where they were and to be so competitive in that division, which is tough. You know, I'm actually really proud of that, which is crazy. But at the end of it, though, when you get relegated, it was a kick in the cojones, because having taken it to literally the second to last weekend of the season, and so near. But it was great. Kings Lynn was actually so much fun. It's a great place, great town, but a great changing room. It was brilliant. It made the daily commute worthwhile.
Nice and
Yeah,
local.
I was going to say, yeah, certainly not an easy one from Tunbridge, was that?
No, yeah, well, it was 100. We moved the training ground to a place called Ely near Cambridge, so that was 100 miles, and then Kings Lynn was an extra 35 miles if we went there. But when we were in the National League North, I mean, I live in Tunbridge, Tommy lives in Southend, so you can imagine that every game is up north. We did some miles that season. I remember, to be fair, even in the National League, we went to Wrexham on a Tuesday night, Grimsby on a Tuesday night. I get up at 6 a.m. And then we went to places like Scarborough, Southport, places like that on a Tuesday night. Yeah, you get home back to Kent very, very, very late. And at 6 a.m., you don't bother going to bed because the kids have got to get up to go to school. Then you've got to walk the dog. Then it's 10 a.m. and then you die. Fun. I wouldn't change it for anything.
No.
The worst thing was you get back to where our cars would often be parked in Peterborough, right? So you get back to Peterborough at like 3 a.m. to get in your car on a Wednesday, 3 a.m. Wednesday morning, and you know that you got 2 hours to go yet. That was that was a real test. That was the hardest thing about it. Either that or sitting in the dark for a lot on Saturday night and midnight, not moving. But
yeah, not ideal, is it? Not ideal. Hugo, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
No problem. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. And hopefully Gaz or I or both of us will probably get down and have a watch at some point this season as well.
I think we need to. Maybe we'll both go to that one. You can try.
Yeah, it'd be great to see you both. Which game?
Don't know yet. We'll have to plan.
I don't know. We'll pick one. We'll pick a good one.
We'll pick a good one. Pick one. Drop me a line. We'll make you at home. Okay.
Marvelous stuff.
Thank you, Hugo.
Thanks a lot, Hugo.
No worries, guys. All the very best to you both.
Take care. See you later.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully, Tommy and Hugo work the same magic as they did the first time around and get Eastbourne out of trouble. Must be. We'll come to a bit of the south in a minute, but it must be maybe a little bit. I can't think of the word. And I'm normally good with words. It must be the jet lag. Obviously, seeing Worthing and Horsham at the other end of the table. They're struggling a bit at the bottom. Not so much they're letting Sussex down. Pardon?
Must be for them going in. It's got to be a motivation to see that Horsham and Worthing are up there and they're down there. And actually, Hugo hit the nail on the head. His first game was a 6-0 win, which had they not have won that would have cut them a little bit adrift of getting out of that bottom four.
Yeah, actually resulted in Alan Julian leaving Hampton and Richmond Borough this week as well. Club that are in that bottom four area as well. So there we go. Right, let's kick off with the FA Vars third round this weekend, and 3 of our sides are still left in the competition. Hayward Heath Town at home to Berks County, their first home tie in the Vars in 10 attempts. And as we said a couple of weeks ago, let's hope the home hoodoo doesn't actually bite them on the bum instead, having played and won the 9. Eastbourne United are away at the holders Whitstable Town, which obviously isn't the easiest and the second Sussex side for them to face in a row in defence of their title. And on Sunday, Crawley Down Gatwick head to Whitstable as well, where they face Faversham Strikeforce, who ground share at Belmont Road. I'm just having a quick look in my prep before I come on. They're 15th in the Skeffel, so around about the similar sort of position to Crawley Down Gatwick. So that could be quite an interesting game on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, Crawley Down Gatwick will be a little bit fresher as their game. They didn't complete 90 minutes on Saturday. But look, I think they'll both be up for it. We saw Crawley Down Gatwick last season do well in the Vars, didn't we? And I think it Fleet. We saw them against Fleet. and they just come up short, I think.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, I think all three of those sides, and I include Eastbourne United in that, have they have a fighter's chance of winning that. But Horsham, not Horsham, Haywards Heath. I saw them last week, and they are good. They're very good, and there's a reason they're top of the league, and they haven't lost in the league yet this season. In my opinion, there will be one of the teams left in the semi-finals. I'm not going to commit to them being in the final, but if they play to their full potential, I can't see any reason why they wouldn't be moving into the semi-finals and getting onto the national side of it.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few clubs in there that, now you get to this round as well. Once you complete this one, the next one doesn't happen until after Christmas. You're then on that final stretch to get to the end of the season as well. It becomes a little bit more serious as well. I mean, I did look at doing a whole weekender of staying down in Eastbourne and doing the game on Saturday and then doing the game on Sunday as well. But bearing in mind, because I've only just got back from holiday, that was maybe one bridge too far. But potential there for someone to do a Sussex weekender down on the Kent coast. But good luck to all three sides on Saturday afternoon. Hopefully, we've got all three sides in the draw on Monday afternoon. Right, let's head to the National League South. And as we mentioned last weekend, Eastbourne Borough beat Hampton and Richmond by 6-0. Horsham drew 1-1 with Weston-super-Mare, and Worthing beat Hornchurch, the leaders, by 5-0. No midweek games this week. This coming Saturday, as Hugo alluded to, Eastbourne Borough head to Dorking Wanderers. Horsham are on the road to Chippenham Town, the only side below Eastbourne Borough, and Worthing head to Ebbsfleet United. And on Tuesday evening, Worthing have another cracker of a game away to Weston-super-Mare. Gaz, that result last Saturday against Hornchurch was only Hornchurch's second defeat of the season, but quite a thumping. Are we putting Worthing in the title contenders pot for definite now?
Oh, do you know what? I didn't even, if I'll be honest with you, I didn't think that the bounce would be as good as it has been.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And I thought, look, Hinch is a very, very, very capable manager. He had a great time at York, just missing out on promotion. I honestly don't think he deserved the sack. They were unbeaten. Granted, they hadn't won, but they were unbeaten when he left. But look, I think there should be no reason why you can't consider Worthing in the title picture. They got a game in hand, which I think is actually against Weston.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
And depending on how things go at the weekend, we'll put them above Weston-super-Mare up into third, 3 points off Hornchurch.
Yeah, I think we've got to give Hornchurch a bit of kudos as well. After being thumped 5-0 on Saturday, they then went to Hemel, who are no bad team on Tuesday evening, and promptly put 4 past them. So, they're, while they've shown they've got that vulnerability, they're not going to be that easy to shift off that top spot.
No, but when a team like Worthing, who are notoriously up in and around the top 3 or 4, put 5 past you and are then knocking on your door, does the mental aspect of we lost 5-0 to this team come into it? Look, I don't know. There's still a long way to go. We're not even halfway through the season yet.
No, we're not far away, are we, though?
We're not far away, but 23, so probably another 4 games for Worthing, 3 games for Hornchurch. No, I think there's a long way to go. And if Worthing carry on in the form that they've been on, granted they lost to Torquay. I think title picture wise, Torquay. I think if you finish, in my opinion, if you finish above Torquay, I think you're going to win the league.
Yeah, I mean, I tipped Torquay to win it this year, so you're basically calling what I said. So we'll see where we go with that. Horsham, being as well as they are at the moment, I think was it 11 games unbeaten. I think the run is now at the moment. Yeah, would you say playoffs now need to be the aim for them this season?
Yeah, I think so. The only thing against them is they've played 1 or 2 more games than most people. They played 21, and everyone around them has played 19.
Yeah.
But I mean, Maidstone are down in 8th on 29 points. Even if they win their game in hand over them, they're still 3 points behind them. So, look, I think I think if they don't get playoffs, they'll be disappointed. Deep down, I think at the start of the season, the expectation would have been stay up.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they've started the way they have, my gut would be saying they'll be disappointed if they don't get playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on with that. Right. Let's get into the Isthmian Premier Division and results on Saturday. Burgess Hill Town beat Potters Bar Town by 2-1. Chichester City went down 3-0 at the leaders, Folkestone and Victor. Hashtag United and Lewis shared a 3-3 draw, and Whitehawk and Ramsgate shared a 2-2 draw on a Tuesday evening. Whitehawk went down 2-1 at Canvey Island. Chichester City drew 2-2 with Chatham Town, and Lewis's game with Billericay Town was postponed due to the weather. This coming Saturday, Burgess Hill Town head to Chatham Town, Chichester City host Cray Valley PM, Lewis are at home to Dartford, and Whitehawk entertain Welling United. Then next Tuesday, Chichester City head to Canvey Island, Whitehawk head to Chatham Town, and an advance note for your diary there. Friday night football that week as Whitehawk head to Cray Wanderers. Gaz, you were at Chichester against Chatham on Tuesday night. Was it cold? Was it wet?
It was all of those things, just like my burger.
Yeah, we'll come to that, won't we? A little bit later. Give me your impressions of Chatham, because I think they're not quite full time. They're in that hybrid model.
No,
they're absolute full time. They are.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, give us some thought on that, because obviously they're sitting second behind Folkestone.
Considering it was full time versus part time, Chatham looked disappointing. If I was a Chatham fan and I was as a full time club, they looked bang average. Chichester played them off the park.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to Dabber afterwards. If Chai had taken their chances, they could have had 4 or 5 in the first half. And I think the match report, I don't know if you've uploaded it yet, but I think the match report that I sent you probably sort of mirrors that. I think if Chichester take their chances, they should have probably won 4 or 5-2, to be honest with you. I didn't think Chatham looked that great. They turned up, all these coaches, much more than Chai, always in the Linos ear. I felt a bit sorry for the Lino, to be honest with you. They didn't, as a club, they didn't portray themselves very well. Not on the field, off the field. Not the fans, the management team. I'm just going to say it. The management team let themselves down. I think they were a bit. I stood by the dugout in the first half, and I actually felt sorry for Lino, which doesn't happen very often. And I thought they were bang average for a team that's supposed to be full time. There's not many full time teams in that league.
Just them. Yeah,
they're actually third in the league. 9 points off Folkestone and Victor. Yes, Chai came from behind twice, and you thought the team, they're a full time. They played from the goalkeeper to the right back or the left back, and it was a diagonal ball. No midfield, no nothing, and it almost that from minute 1 to minute 90. I could see how they were playing, and I don't particularly have much in the way of coaching experience, if any coaching experience. I've just watched a lot of games of football. I could see it. Our friend Steve was with me. He could see it. And we just both knew exactly what was going to happen. It was going to be a header on, and both goals came from something sort of similar, to be honest with you. So enough about them.
Made a trip outside the 5 mile area.
Steve did, yeah, he came. We were going to Pagham originally.
Yes, you were. Yeah, no, yeah.
And then,
I did read yesterday. Obviously because of the massive great time difference. Jimmy Wild is back. I was going to say on the grass, but obviously on the plastic back in training, which would be a huge boost to them once he's fit and back leading the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's what they sort of they did miss that final third goal scoring threat. But look, if Chai need to stay up this season and kick on, they've had a tough season. I can't take that away from anyone. Everything that's gone along with Chichester this season, every single person down there was nice. And do you know what? It was nice to see Dabber at the end of the game. He came out. They've got a little Chichester City youth all turning up in their Stone Island and their Hackett jackets and all this sort of stuff. And he gave every single one of them a hat. Put it out on our socials because I think that sort of thing is great. All the hats have BV9 on them.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So look, absolutely great. And to see that connection, look, that's the connection that I had when I first started watching Worthing Football Club back in 20 odd years ago. And it's nice to see that it does still happen. Because a lot of the youth supporters that go to non-league games get a bit of a bad rap for trying to cause a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
But these guys, I said, look, I really like what I've done. Do you mind if we take a picture and I put it up on the socials? And they were like, no, of course not. So there was, I put it up. Like that. So, Chai should have won the game. They were a much better side, in my opinion, especially as they came up against a team who, if you budget-wise, I think someone referred to it as 22 grand versus 2 grand.
Yeah, well, that was one thing actually I wanted to pull Monty up if he's listening this evening as well, which he probably isn't because he should be training. But I'm not sure Averley have got a 14 grand a week budget. Chatham, yes, I can get on board with that, but Averley, no, I'm not. There's no way. I don't think they'd be anywhere near that. And if they are, send me your source, Monty. I'd love to know who that is. So I'm sure I know there's clubs in that division that have got bigger budgets than Averley, despite the fact they were in the National League South last year. But yeah, and of course, as we know, Chive got a lot of games in hand for the reason that we know. Again, that division's so tight though that they win Saturday and Tuesday, and then all of a sudden they're on the cusp of the playoffs. We're still about 2-3 games in hand on everyone. Yeah,
well, they've got 3 or 4 games in hand over pretty much everyone. They've got 21 points. Those 3 games take you up to 30 points. Burgess Hill are currently sat in 6th on 30 points. So yeah, no, I think they'll be all right. They ain't going to go down. They looked too good for someone to come down. If Jimmy Ward, as you say, is back on the pitch, it'll only be a matter of time before they start knocking in the goals.
Absolutely. Right, into the Isthmian South East Division and results last Saturday. Crowber Athletic and Broadwood Chief shared a 2-2 draw. East Grinstead Town's home game with AFC Whiteleaf was postponed. Three Bridges won 5-0 at Eastbourne Town. Hastings United won 3-1 at Erith Town, and Herne Bay and Hassocks shared a 1-1 draw. On a Tuesday evening, Hassocks went down 2-1 at Sittingbourne. This coming Saturday, East Grinstead Town head to AFC Croydon Athletic. Crowber Athletic host Faversham Town. Eastbourne Town have Jersey Bulls at home with a 12:30 p.m. kickoff. Hastings United entertain Sevenoaks Town. Broadwood Chief head to Mersham. Three Bridges are at home to Margate, and Hassocks are on the road again to VCD Athletic. On Tuesday evening, there's 2 games in the Velocity Cup. Chatham Town head to Crowborough Athletic, and Burgess Hill Town head to Hayes and Yedding. Gaz, another win for Hastings. Only 3 points away from the drop zone still. But David Altendorf is getting a right old tune out of the claret and blue from the pilot field.
Isn't he just? I think everyone knows that he's a good coach, a good manager. And it took him a while to get back in, but he got, by the looks of it, he got back in at the right club. I think Hassocks, if they carry on the trajectory they're going, I think they'll be all right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean with Hastings picking up the points as well, it's just dragging Crowborough, Eastbourne, and Hassocks into that little mix at the bottom. And we've got a couple of clubs in Sevenoaks and Ashford that can't buy much of a win, at the moment. But they're only maybe 4 or 5 points, away from those clubs. There's just a little bit of a couple of results needed, I think, for those for those teams. And Crowborough did well to come back from 2-0 down at home to Broadbridge Heath to nick a point. And with Chris's boys obviously doing very well, up the top end. But I think maybe Hassocks are just getting to the point of they're getting comfortable with the league. There's the midweek games are now dried up. You've just got that Saturday to concentrate on, and maybe that'll that'll help them out just that little bit more to be able to get that edge in those training sessions rather than having to keep playing Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Hassocks is a massive one, isn't it? It's their first go at this sort of level. They're just trying to. There's some long trips. Like they had Sittingbourne obviously last night, away on a Tuesday night. I think it's all a learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know Pat will probably be embracing the learning curve, trying to figure out what they can do, stay up this season, what they can do for next season to sort of to kick on, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
From understanding as well, that they've probably got one of the smallest budgets in that league. Bearing in mind they haven't paid before this season. I can't see them going all out and spending thousands of £1,000 a week from nothing. So, look, it's a learning curve, and then I think next season you'll see potentially a different Hassocks to what you're seeing this season. I'm not taking it away from them. Don't get me wrong. But people expect from Hassocks after what happened last season. But look, it's their first time in that league. They're doing all right. 22 points. They're 3 points away from the drop zone. But as you say, Ashford and Seven Oaks can't seem to buy a win at the moment. So providing they can keep picking up points at home, they should be absolutely fine.
Absolutely.
While you're talking, I'm just going to plug my laptop in because it's going to die.
You do that, right? I'll get into the Isthmian South Central while Gaz sorts out his cables and leads. And results last Saturday, Littlehampton Town went down 3-1 at Ascot United, and Bognor Regis Town lost 2-1 at home to AFC Portsmouth with the 97th minute Portuguese winner there. No midweek games this coming Saturday. Littlehampton Town at home to Binfield, and Bognor Regis Town head to Invercourt to face Met Police. No midweek games for them next week either. Getting to that point of the season where the midweek games are becoming very few and far between as they go. Both comfortable in mid-table at the moment, Gaz. And as we saw, I think I posted in the WhatsApp group as well during the week, their pitch is coming along very nicely now at Nywood Lane, and by the looks of things, Saturday the 27th of December at home to Fareham Town is going to be the first game. And what a date to be doing it right slap bang in the festive period.
Absolutely. I've been to Nywood Lane over the festive period in the past. It's absolutely buzzing there. Obviously I went as an away fan, but it is absolutely buzzing there on over the festive period. They get a big crowd. They haven't been at Nywood Lane all season. I will put money on there being a plus 1,100 crowd there that day. It'll be an absolutely bumper crowd that day.
Yeah, I mean, Fairham's obviously not too far for them to come as well. It's all, bar Littlehampton, Portage and Fareham and Horndean really are their localish clubs they've got. So hopefully Fareham bring a few as well. And I think if I'm right, and I haven't checked the fixture schedule for a long while, New Year's Day is when they host Littlehampton. So I think, we could see a good 1,500 crowd that day as well, especially when there's not a lot of football on New Year's Day either, especially around locally, because obviously it's falling on a Thursday. So it'd be interesting to see how they go with that. Right, let's move on to the Southern Combination Premier Division results last weekend. Peacehaven and Tarleton went down 1-0 at home to Guernsey. AFC Vardinians lost by the same score to Haywards Heath Town. Crawley Down Gatwick against Horsham YM was abandoned after 78 minutes, I think it was, when the floodlights went out. New Haven won 4-2 at Forest Row. The games at Little Common, Midhurst and Eastbourne and Rothie were all postponed due to the weather. Seaford Town beat Pagham by 2-1. Stenning Town beat Shoreham by 4-0. And Wick against Bexhill was also postponed because of the weather. On Tuesday evening, the only game that should have taken place where Gaz would have been was Packham against Heritage, which was also postponed because of the weather. This coming Saturday, as we mentioned, we've got the 2 games in the FA Vars. Guernsey host Little Common at 2 p.m. Bexhill United are at home to Forest Row. Horsham YM are at home to AFC Vardinians, which kicks off at 2 p.m. because Horsham have got light issues. And at least Crawley Down Gatwitz came on for 70-odd minutes last week, rather than those that don't at Gorings Mead. Lancing are at home to Seaford Town. Lingfield hosts Stenning Town, which is obviously being played at Stenning. New Haven are at home to Midhurst and Eastbourne. Pagham against Peacehaven and Telscombe. And Shoreham at home to Roffey. Then obviously on Sunday, as we mentioned in the Vars, Crawley Down Gatwick head down to Whitstable to face Shoreham Strike Force. On Tuesday evening, in the Sussex RUR Cup quarter-final, it's Roffey against Oakwood with a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. And in the Premier Division, Wick travel to Eastbourne United. Gaz, good wins for Guernsey and Sleaford last weekend against Peacehaven and Telscombe Pagham, 2 sides that are going to be up there potentially with Guernsey, but not easy to get results against either of those 2 sides.
No, both very good sides. Yeah, this is an open league, isn't it? Other than
Perth,
yeah, and who again, as I say, haven't lost yet. Everyone seems capable of beating everyone, which is nice to see. And do you know what? For me, the standout was nearly team of the week worthy. Was Shoreham only conceding 4 against Stenning.
Well, I think I saw Ash Ridley say, because I believe he went to the game. Obviously I'm following it from wherever I was. I can't remember where I was in the States then. I think I was at Dallas. I can't remember. And obviously he said, Shoreham did quite well. And the positive is they're not conceding as many goals. But
still
the point there, Ash, is they're still losing games. It doesn't matter whether you concede 1 goal or you concede 7 or however many. It really doesn't make. We know Stenning are a good side anyway. Yes, they kept the score down to a respectable level, maybe. But what's that now? 15 straight league defeats?
Something like that. Doesn't make pretty reading, does it?
No. And when Chris is back, I'm going to get him to dig out who's had the most consecutive league defeats in the county league. It's a nice little challenge for him.
He's actually. I think he might be listening.
He probably will be. He probably will be.
He was on a minute ago on Instagram, but
we'll see. We'll give him that challenge as it goes. Right, Southern Combination Division 1. Apologies if we're rattling through this a little bit quick, but I am a tad tired. Even the second coffee's not really helped. Right. Results.
You know what you need, Trev? Do you know what you need?
What's that?
You need a coffee machine and some naked barista coffee.
Do you know what? I probably could do with that. That would be fantastic. Great little plug for your business.
Black Friday, you get 30% off.
I need some sleep.
Hashtag not an ad.
Right. AFC Walcountians beat Reigate Priory by 5-4. Arundel against Lockwood was postponed because of the weather, as was Billingshurst against Selsey. Godalming Town beat Dorking Wanderers beat by 1-0. Infinity against East Preston was also off because of the weather. Mile Oak beat Jarvis Brook by 3-2. Oakwood and Copthorne was postponed because of the weather. Ringmer went down 5-1 at home to Worthing United, and Saltdean United beat AFC Uckfield by 8-0. On Tuesday evening, Dorking Wanderers beat Oakwood by 2-0. And on Wednesday evening, the Southern Combination Cup second round, which has nothing to do with the Southern Combination League, but for some reason is a Sussex Cup. Godalming Town went out by 3-1 to Guildford City. For some reason, I haven't put in the Saturday fixtures for Division 1. So I'll grab those in a second. On Tuesday evening in the Surrey FA Saturday Premier Cup, AFC Walcountians are at home to Knutsborough. And as we mentioned earlier in the Sussex RUR Cup quarter-final, it's Roffey at home to Oakwood at 7:30. And go on then, if you want to give them out.
All 3 o'clock kickoffs. Arundel at home to Infinity. We'll talk about that one in a minute because I don't think that's likely to go ahead unless they performed a miracle. Billingshurst are at home to East Preston. Godalming travel to Horsham Football Club and play Copthorne. Loxwood are playing Selsey. Reigate are at home to Dorking Wanderers B. Ringmer host Uckfield. Worthing United host Jarvis Brook. And Saltdean are finally going back to Saltdean and the host Mile Oak at the Oval Arena 3G.
No, that's at Eastbourne.
Nah, I'm sure
The
I saw
Oval Arena. The Oval Arena's in Eastbourne.
I was told they were back this week. Never mind. I'll shut up.
All right, there we go. There's the fixtures. Godalming currently 8 points clear at the top, but Infinity and Billingshurst have 2 games in hand. It's slightly a little bit skew-if at the top of that table with all these postponed games. But got to mention Worthing United 1-0 down away at Ringmer AFC, and then come storming back to win by 5 goals to 1. If they can grab that consistency against the sides in the top 2 or 3 and pick up some points off of them, then we can put them into, I think, title contention consideration talk along with the 3 that are already there in slots 1 to 3.
Yeah, but then you look at Arundel, have got 2 games in hand on Worthing United, 3 games in hand on Godalming, and a game in hand on Infinity and Billingshurst.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we know, though, Billingshurst and Arundel do have trouble with their pitch this time of year. I'm not sure what. I mean, I know we've been down to Siddlesham, but we went on a cold evening rather than a wet or murky day. So I don't know how well theirs go. So that may well derail those 3 clubs and give Worthing United an in.
Yeah, but then Arundel are used to it now. Last year they didn't play at home for nearly 2.5 months and ended up going on this incredible run, which saw them get into the playoffs. I'm going to talk about Arundel because I was down there a few weeks ago for the Walcountians game. The referee, in my opinion, made probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen. He started the game, called it off at half-time. Now, I got there, and Dan Harvey, the chairman at Arundel, was there with a can of white paint, a shovel and a bucket in the goal mouth, clearing the water and the mud and painting the line on again on the goal line.
Right.
If that isn't enough for the referee to look at it, and from the sort of the 5th minute, the ball was sticking in certain places. Now, what that referee has done by playing that 45 minutes of football is scupper any chance Arundel have of getting any game on, despite what they've spent pre-season to try and do more with the pitch. It doesn't matter what they've spent. He's just effectively scuppered any opportunity of getting football on there until the end of January, in my opinion. End of January, beginning of February.
It's really bugging it up that much.
Yeah. And there was no need for that game to be played. Arundel were trying to get it called off because they didn't think the pitch was playable. It wasn't going to last 90 minutes. I spoke to the Walcountians coach. They've all come down from sort of Croydon area. They've got to go back to Croydon. And actually, the game shouldn't even have started. Both managers agree that the game shouldn't even have started. I wasn't on last week, so I couldn't bitch about it last week. But it just, in my opinion, it screams the referee wants some of his money, wants paying, so he got the game on. It wouldn't have taken 5 minutes for a referee to come up from Littlehampton or one locally, take one look at the pitch and go, game off at 10 o'clock in the morning. Before the guys had even left from Croydon or wherever they've come from Walcountians, that should, in my opinion, like we've been in around that sort of part of Sussex football for a few years. Everyone knows Arundel's pitch, but I know that the guys at the club have done everything they can over the summer to try and get some sort of drainage and do something to make sure that they don't have those sort of 2.5 months where games are really a little bit thin on the ground. It's just the referees absolutely he's pulled their pants down, in my opinion. I won't go into it too much more, but I just think he's He's had an absolute shocker in that game, and I think you'll find the Woolcountians and the Arundel guys will back me up on that one. The only thing I will say as a positive, every single player, whether it's Woolcountians or Arundel, were in the bar. I left probably an hour after the game finished at half-time, 45 minutes after, and they were all still in the bar. The bar was absolutely packed. So I'd hope whatever they've had to give the officials has gone behind the bar and they've made up the money elsewhere.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Regardless, it was nice to see both sets of players sat around having a chat. The whole Arundel team was sat there across the tables having a chat, and the team spirit is definitely there. So,
nice, isn't it? Got to mention obviously AFC Uckfield Town. Ryan Huckle in as the new manager announced today. Big job for him though, Gaz. 5 points adrift. I played 2 more. Blocks were just above them. As well, and we know they've had a few dicky results in Mike's sacking territory the last 2 or 3 weeks as well. But Saltdean are just starting to put that little run together under Lawrence Edwards. They're not yet got back home either. Do we see Uckfield getting out of it? Do we think has he got to pick up a couple of results very quickly just to try and stem that flow a little bit and close a little bit of a gap?
Yeah, I think it'll be. Yeah, I think it'll be. It's 2, isn't it, that go down in this league?
Yeah,
it'll be 2. I think
potentially 3. Yeah,
it'll be 2 of those 3 that are in the bottom 3. I think Copthorne are banging in trouble. They're done, but then they probably should have been done last year. And then Uckfield, Loxwood. I think if they can get some players back, I think they will be they'll be all right. If I'm being honest, I think they'll if they can get some players back from injury and get from what I've read on social media, they've got a few players out. They've struggled to get a same back 4 every week. If they can get a bit of consistency, they'll be fine. Saltdean, they'll be all right. They get back home. They've got a good manager in Loz down there. I think they'll be more than capable of staying up. I genuinely thought he said they were back home against Milo, but maybe I'm wrong.
Where did you see? Did you look on full time?
I saw him at Hayward Heath.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they were playing. They were at New Haven, but I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, being 22, they're Just ignore me. Maybe I'm making it up.
Okay, I will. I haven't seen anything out on social media to suggest they are.
No.
Back home, but I know it's.
I'm just checking now. Neither have I. Just ignore me, guys. Most people normally do.
All right, let's get into step 7 and give you the results and fixtures from over there in the Southern Combination Division 2 last weekend. Alpha beat Brighton Electricity by 7-0, and Chester City B won 4-3 at ASC Brighton Rangers. The games at Capel, Southwater, TD Shipley, Upper Beeding and Storrington were all postponed because of the weather. This coming Saturday, Division 2 Challenge Cup quarterfinals, Capel against Southwater and TD Shipley against Chester City B are both 1:30 kickoffs, and Howsham host ASC Brighton Rangers at 3 p.m. In Division 2, it's Bosham against Ferring, Rudgwick head to Brighton Electricity, Worthingtown entertain Alfold, and Russington make the trip to Storrington. In the Mid-Sussex Premier Division, the only game to survive the weather last weekend, Cookville Rangers beat Reigate Priory Reserves by 4-2. This coming Saturday, Balcombe host Hollington United at 1:30. Linfield host Shoreham Seconds, which is 3 p.m. kickoff at Burgess Hill Town. Punnets Town at home to Holland Sports. Reigate Priory Reserves at home to Polegate Town. Rotherfield against Crowhurst, and Westfield host French's Athletic. In the West Sussex Premier Division, the only game to survive weather last weekend was Dell United 2, Wittering United 2. This coming Saturday, Sussex Intermediate Cup, Battletown host Billingshurst Reserves. And in the Premier Division, Amring at home to Wittering United, Dell United versus Watersfield, Harting versus TD Shipley Reserves, and Petworth host Horsham Crusaders. You know, it's really weird, Gaz. I couldn't access FA full time in the States.
Oh,
I had an absolute struggle to try and get. Obviously been away last week. I bought the non-league paper online. Obviously managed to read it before it would have hit the shops over here because it comes out about midnight. So I was sitting over there reading that, and obviously I could get the results for Division 2 and the Mid Sussex. But that was it. I couldn't get it. Obviously, you know, sometimes they miss results out. So I was trying to get on to full time just to see if, like, you know, the games were postponed because of the weather or not. Couldn't get on all week. Didn't matter where I was, trying to VPN, everything. Could not get on. Come home today, click your fingers, I'm on just like that.
Well, if only, load of rubbish. Just quickly, Ollie Berry, who is
Billingshurst,
has commented, we've already got Woodside Road booked for Saturday, not a chance at our place.
Right, so there we go. So I need to remember that when I do catch a match. So Billingshurst against. Oh, you got the fixtures, Gaz, haven't you? Because I forgot to add them into my list.
Yeah. I haven't at the moment, so I'm on the table. But give me 2 seconds.
There we go.
Billingshurst are playing East Preston at Worthing. Oh, it does actually say Worthing Football Club. Well,
was that on full
I wasn't
time?
very observant then. Thanks for prompting me, Ollie. I appreciate that, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're not following not following Worthing away, head to Woodside Road and watch one of the title contenders at least in action. Right, that is all of step 7 rounded up. So Gaz, you got a burger review for us this week.
I have
and
indeed. It comes from Chichester, and I had so much hope for this one because I like Chichester as a club. Let me read out what I put on Instagram this afternoon. Instagram at the SNLF_food. I'm going to break down. It's a premium ELB, so it was a gourmet foul back. So it was like, it wasn't an ELB, but it was like a little bit elevated. A good start, looks the part. Thick cut bacon is always a winner. It's a Booker burger, but similar to the Arundel one. Bear in mind, Arundel got 8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't think you're ever going to get that because Arundel put some cheddar on there and I got a brioche bun, so it balances it out. Burger cheese, that's fine, but the cheese didn't melt. The burger was cold, and if you look in the picture, the top layer of cheese is still just unmelted. It's melted, kind of melted between the two burgers a little bit, but yeah, it was cold. And that's where the wheels fell off. A cold burger with unmelted cheese is a straight red card offence in the SNLF Bundesliga. 5.5 out of 10.
5.5.
Because it tasted all right. It was just cold.
Just cold. That's disappointing on a Tuesday night when it's cold as well, and you want something to warm you up, don't you?
Yeah. But what I will do is give them a massive shout out for their beer lineup.
Okay.
Listen to this. Mal.
Is it a good 5-side team?
Say again?
Is it a good 5-side team?
Yeah. Apart from Foster's. But you got Mal, which is like the Spanish beer, only starting to come out over here recently. Camden Easy IPA, Camden Hells, Guinness, and Foster's. And then they've got a couple of others that I couldn't quite get a picture of. But it's a hell of a lineup for a non-league club. A lot of them just have Amstel or Cruz Campo, but that's a decent lineup.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right, and you know what? I've seen more clubs recently diversifying their beer lineup. I think, hey, not badger on about them, but Arundel have just bought a German beer in, and so have Hayward Heath. When I was there a few weeks ago, they had a bit of German beer on tap as well. It's nice to see not your usual Amstel, Cruz Campo. What's the other one? The shit one that's like Spanish Carlsberg. Is it Madrid or something like that?
Yeah, I can't stand that.
Yeah, no. But it's nice to see them. Like, people will pay it. They don't mind paying like £6 a pint if it's a decent beer. That's what I say about the food as well. They don't mind paying £8-9 if the burger's going to be decent. If it's cold, I don't want to pay £6.50, which is what it was.
No. Well, talking of decent burgers.
Oh, your one looked good.
The Dallas Cowboys burger at the AT&T last Thursday. If you haven't seen it, pop on to My Instagram, I'm Trevor Nell, all one word there, or on Twitter at TrevorK37. This boy of a burger was wow, is all I can say. $27, I think it was. And my God, I just about got through it. I couldn't eat all the bun though because it got a bit soggy towards the back end of it. But I got through all the meat, and my life, that was a burger and a half, wasn't it? It really was.
It was. It split opinion though on my little poll that I put out on Instagram.
Oh, did it?
On the SNLF food. It got 67% voted for Scran and 33 voted for Scrap.
Interesting.
I don't know whether they thought it might have been too big or what. It looked good to me. Well, I'd have eaten it.
Let me tell you, right? That's the only size burger you could get. Couldn't get anything smaller. That literally was it. Yeah, that was your choice. So go hard or go home. So I
lovely.
You know,
my kind of burger.
I should do. So there we go. That's our burger review for
food.
Oh yeah, go on before we go.
Come up with a little thing about offering my services to a club.
Yes.
What I want to try and do is come up with a menu. I'll come and cook it for the day. Get in your burger hut, do all the cooking. All I ask is that if the club buy the ingredients, I will set the price in. You tell me how much you paid, and you get all the profits as well. I'll come in, do it for a day, do the SNLF food guy menu, which will probably consist of a bacon double cheeseburger, maybe like a little chili dog or something like that, and maybe some like loaded fries or loaded tater tots or that sort of thing. Are you just been in America?
Yeah, only of them.
Look, it's an idea. I'm happy to talk through it with clubs. Just give me a shout on the SNLF_food on Instagram, and we'll talk there, or message me on X at gspinks1987. I think
you are indeed correct.
Yeah, just drop me a message on one of those two. I'm happy to talk it through and see if there's something we can do, just to offer something else out and show that it actually works. And if anyone wants coffee, give me a shout on either of those, because I can sort
Black
that
Friday.
out as well. I'm just going to keep pushing it because, yeah, anyone doesn't know, I sell coffee for a living, for probably one of the best coffees, tasting coffees in the South. Just drop me a message on anything, and I'll reply and see what I can do to help you out.
What I will say is Gaz did put a menu together during this week as well, and a couple of the options on there are brilliant. But the only thing I said to you was, I don't think all the clubs have got the ability to be able to keep food warm throughout 2 hours. But if they can, get in touch again, because there's other things that you can add to that menu, which were on this one you showed us. What you want to put out is the standard kind of fare, but to have that little bit extra, if you can, does make that difference and a standout point, doesn't it? You know, I'd like to see a fish burger somewhere.
I think we're missing a trick, and I'm not going to give him credit for it, but a certain person from another podcast that we used to work on tried to get one into Worthing. Someone should do a fish burger, although if you eat the fillet of fish from McDonald's, that doesn't count because it's a bit rotten, isn't it? But I think there should be certainly some fish goujons or something like that, a bit of tartar sauce.
Yeah, I'll be all over that. Be all over that for something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
really would. So there you go. So get in touch with Gaz if you're interested in getting him into your burger bar, making
we'll
your food,
the whole thing as well, so people can see me absolutely shitting my pants when I realise that I've run out of food or that I've got a massive queue. Might even bring Mike down for a bit of entertainment as well and get him helping.
Yeah, but you have to get him working. I mean, considering he's missing this week because he's gallivanting halfway across the other side of the world as I was, and he's actually flying back, I think, as we speak right now. But you guys get to keep the profits. Gaz has given up his time for the afternoon to try and give you guys a little bit of help and a little bit of publicity, which is what we're here for, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think that every club offers burger, chips, and that sort of thing. But I think if you can offer them a smaller menu, but if you do it right, it doesn't matter. I want to try and prove that it doesn't matter what you charge. You can, if you do get the right ingredients and everything else, you'll be fine.
Yeah, get on them cod goujons. Right,
Yeah.
on to team of the week. We should have done it on Monday, but I haven't had time. I've been too busy taking pictures of food and gallivanting around the strip in Las Vegas. So we will pick it out and have it out over the weekend. The ironic thing last week, actually, when Mike announced Worthing were team of the week, he mentioned the loss against Torquay on Tuesday evening, which didn't count towards it because it is last Tuesday's result and Saturday's, because that actually ends November. But then Mike doesn't really always listen to everything I say anyway, so I'm not surprised I have to pick holes in little bits and pieces here and there. So we will grab our fourth team of the week. Now I'm back in the same time zone as Gaz, so we can have a sensible conversation at a sensible time of day.
Yeah.
Pick the fourth one, and then we'll get the poll out for you guys to get going on. Gaz, any shout outs from you?
I have got one shout out. Shout out to James Westlake and his partner, who are expecting a baby in June next year. Shout out to her name is Jennifer, not his partner. James and Jennifer are expecting a baby next year. Congratulations, guys. And
I'll wish a happy birthday to our team of the week sponsor, Ryan Singers of Singers Roofing. His birthday was, I think, a day or two before mine earlier this week. So happy birthday, Ryan. Happy birthday, anyone that's also celebrated this week. Two other shout outs I'm going to give as well. 2 weeks ago when I wasn't here, I was at the Amex listening to the Price of Football podcast in support of the Samaritans, who are, of course, our charity partners for this year. The Samaritans need £165 per day to be able to operate in Brighton. They don't get any handouts from Samaritans themselves because it's kind of, I think, a franchise type thing. That evening, I think they raised, I can't remember what the exact total was. It was a few thousand, but it was enough to actually keep them kind of in business, so to speak, for 11 days in a row. So absolutely fantastic evening as well. Glenn Murray was one of the special guests who actually spoke really, really well. And Russ Wood, who's the commercial manager at Brighton, which was quite an interesting insight into obviously how their commercial levels have gone from being a League One, League Two club to now being one of the top 10 clubs in the Premier League. So that was fantastic. And we will be having Dean from the Samaritans on the pod in the new year, especially that time of the year in January where, you know, everyone's broke, everyone's struggling with money, everyone's, you know, the weather's not fantastic and whatever. So anything we can do to highlight it a little bit and give people a little bit of a place to you know, be able to go and talk to somebody is much needed, I think. And
I just, while you're on that, like, if anyone is struggling and don't want to talk to anyone, as I say, my DMs are always open. I'm happy to talk to people. Like, genuinely, if you don't want to, it goes no further. I'm happy to talk to people.
Absolutely.
I've been through a lot of shit the last few years, and like, I spoke to Trev about it quite a lot. And if I didn't have someone to speak
vice versa,
I'd have been banging trouble. So look, reach out.
Absolutely right. And the second shout I've got is I'm shouting out me because I've been nominated for Best Editorial 2025 in the Non-League Bible Awards. I've got no clue at all who nominated me. It was a little bit of a surprise when I got tagged in that.
It wasn't me.
I've honestly got no idea. Honestly, not got it. Could be absolutely anybody. Absolutely anybody. Now, you know, in terms of that, it doesn't just cover my own website, www.footballwriting.co.uk, but program columns I do across 14 different clubs, from the top of the country down to the southwest, right across the southeast and around London. All the SNLF stuff that goes on as well, with all the content on the website, and just generally anything I've written for numerous publications over this year and obviously loads in the past as well. Quite simple to go and vote. all the details are on our at the SNLF Twitter feed, and I'm putting it out on mine every single day. You've got till the 16th of December. Don't vote more than once, because only once is going to get counted, so don't waste your time. But please do share it about. Please do just drop that single vote in. It literally takes 2 seconds to go onto the page. Don't click on the picture, as a lot of people have had, because they haven't actually read. At the very top it says click on the picture to read the publication. You go down to the very bottom, all the names down there. Select mine, submit, done. It's literally
I made that mistake.
Yeah,
I already know about this bit.
Yeah, Mike did the same. A couple of my girlfriend's friends did exactly the same as well, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how simple is it? It's not difficult.
I thought you were going to say a couple of my girlfriends did as well. I was like,
yeah.
Trev, after the birthday present you've just had, you can't have a couple of girlfriends, mate.
Well, I could end up with more presents. So fingers crossed on that one, and we'll find out after the 16th of December, maybe in time for Christmas, whether I am a award winner or not. The other shout out as well is keep an eye. I'm on the wrong one now. Jumped in too quick. Is keep an eye on our socials. Mike did mention last week a couple of shows we'll be doing around Christmas as well, and obviously because Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve actually fall on a Wednesday, we ain't going to be recording on either of those 2 days. So if you keep an eye out on Monday, we will release what we're doing in terms of the SNLF show, and another little cheeky special for you that week for Christmas. Right, we're nearly there. Gaz, where you going next week?
Well, I don't know, mate. I was going to speak to you about it and see what you were doing.
Okay, well, Tuesday's out of the equation, so I'm going to Barnet for the first time this year.
That's not non-league football.
That's not non-league football. I'm going to delve into League Two. Saturday, I'm not sure. I obviously had to look through the fixtures when I read the non-league paper on Sunday, and there may be a couple in there. I might, but I need to have another good look tomorrow, and as in Friday, and decide where I go on Saturday. That would be a room.
I was looking at East Sussex, Trev.
You're looking at East Sussex? Are you sure?
East Sussex, yeah. That was really difficult to say. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know. You don't tend to step outside of that bubble, do you? So what are you thinking?
Oh, I don't know. When I look at it, I don't know. Eastbourne Town Jersey Bulls.
What I'm also looking at though is when I got back this afternoon and checked the weather forecast, it's not looking too pleasant for the next about 5 or 6 days. So potentially I might have a grass option and a 4G backup as well, and just see where we go with that. I watched Jersey Bulls two weeks ago at Hastings, so
yeah,
I actually
I might go to Ringmer and watch them play Uckfield.
Against Uckfield, yeah.
Or real wild card.
Go on.
Go to Dorking and watch them play Eastbourne Borough.
I did think that, but then I'm looking at Tuesday the 27th of December. Dorking are at home to Horsham. Not 27th of December, sorry, on the 30th of December. Sure, they're at home to Horsham that night.
I think I'm working that day.
That's an evening.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know around Christmas, do you? I haven't looked at it.
No, the National League are playing Boxing Day, and then that Tuesday evening. So I'm thinking, I may well. I can't get to a game on the 27th, so I may have to fit one in. But we'll see how it goes and see where we go. So, do you know what? I actually managed to get a game in on the Tuesday night before we went away last Wednesday.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't remember where you went, but you did.
I went to Uxbridge for the second time in 3 weeks. Yeah, against Sholing. So not only was I not expecting to go anywhere near a game on the Tuesday, and not expecting to be on a plane to America on Wednesday. There you go. Dreams can come true, can't they? Yes, they go.
Can come true. Yeah. So look, maybe I'll put out a little poll.
Okay.
Lewis are playing Dartford, but then their game was called off on Tuesday. So
yeah, I'm thinking you've got to lean a little bit more towards the 3G, 4Gs this weekend.
yeah,
Just in case. Just in case.
New Haven, Midhurst, Ringmer versus Uxfield. I don't know. We'll have a chat.
We will. We'll have a conflab tomorrow. Now we're back on the same time level.
Yeah, it's been hard, isn't it? The whole week.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Messaging you late at night or like ask crack of the morning.
I'll tell you something though, everyone that's listening. I was messaging Gaz on what would have been Tuesday morning in the UK time. So that was actually my birthday day. And this was about 9-10 o'clock Vegas time. So it's about 5:45, 6 o'clock Tuesday morning. This bugger here in the screen next to me didn't utter once "Happy birthday" at that time of the morning. It didn't utter it all. It was actually. It was my birthday in the UK. It was.
Yeah, but it was your birthday. You were in Vegas though, so technically it wasn't your birthday.
Made no difference because I had everything on Facebook going through. But the funny thing was the laptop was on UK time and my phone was on Vegas time. Now, those of you that are on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, know that the balloons go up your profile on your birthday day if you've got your birthday actually registered in there. So on my phone, it wouldn't do it because it was in Las Vegas time. So it wasn't got to 12 o'clock. On the laptop, I'd gone past 12 o'clock. So I actually could do a screenshot of the laptop to be able to put that on Twitter and go, there you go. So I had people messaging all sorts of times because it was either Vegas time, it was either UK time. It was crazy.
I messaged when I was sat down at work and I had 5 minutes to message.
Yeah.
And I knew you were awake.
And I mean, the thing, Ben, is that when we were actually awake at 7, 8 in the morning, like Vegas time, it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon over here.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Mornings for me are absolute chaos because I have to get my wife to work, my daughter to childminder, and get to work myself. So quite often I don't even realise what time it is. You could message me in the morning and I'll not read it for like 3 hours. Luckily for you, my daughter was up really early, so I was messaging you. But still, it wasn't your birthday in Vegas.
Still no happy birthday. Honestly, disgusting.
You got a happy birthday. You got a nice endearing message out on Instagram and on Twitter /X.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did share it. Well, that really looked a bit daft if I'd have written one to myself on Twitter. It's bad enough having to write the flipping nomination ones to myself to make it look as if it's actually not me writing it.
Just so you know, everyone, Trev did not put out a message to himself on Twitter. It was me.
Although now I'm back, Gaz is going to log out again, so everything will be back to me by the looks of things. Especially when he checks in 35 minutes into a Hayward Heath game, not like right at the very beginning, but you know.
When was that? What?
That was the Horsham one, wasn't it? Where you presented the team in a month.
I didn't check in there. I had to check there early, didn't I? I had a lot to do. Why? I had to control a pissed up Mike as well.
Well, this is why I don't take Mike to games. Not without the baby reins on, anyway.
Yeah, it was all right. And I was chatting as well because like Defy was there, Loz Edwards was there. So
I think he said that on the pod. I think, which I listened to.
So we were like, I was chatting and I was trying to get content, and I did actually put a video out on that one.
Special butterfly. Gaz is getting better. He's learning.
I'm trying. Tuesday night just gone at Chai. I was doing Instagram. I was doing Twitter. I was recording content. I did a burger review, and I put up the halftime score the wrong way around.
Yeah, I know. Someone pulled you up on that, didn't they?
Steve Bone pulled me up on it. Someone else pulled me up on it, and I'd already adjusted it when they pulled me up on it. But I was doing like 4 or 5 things, and I wrote a match report.
I know. What a lad, eh? What a boy. What a boy. So this is why, I can afford to take holidays during the season because people just pick up the workload, put it on their shoulders as if nothing's going on.
To be honest with you, all 3 of you fucked off. Sorry, we're going to have to put a little warning on this now. All 3 of you went away.
Well, yeah. But originally, Mike was going to do one with you on Wednesday, but I don't think the time
I've
zone.
had Mike off though to go see Jimmy Carr, didn't I?
That was the week before, wasn't it? Yeah,
Week.
So you fucked off the week before.
Yeah, you can swear now because I've done it.
So there you go. Everyone's guilty.
Yeah.
But there we go. Slightly short show this evening. 380 we've had in, Gaz, to watch on a Thursday, which is not bad when I think practically all of the 56 clubs, bar about 3, should be training this evening. So
yeah, no, it's great. Thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And as always, if you want to get in touch with us, we're on Twitter at the SNLF.co.uk and Facebook, the SNLF.co.uk. Gaz, TikTok and Instagram?
At the SNLF.co.uk. I did a little experiment on TikTok. I paid £4 to promote one of my videos. And all of a sudden it got 900 extra views than it had originally.
That's not bad for £4, is it really?
No. I haven't checked it today. I checked it yesterday. And see if I picked up any more followers from that. So it was on 700 and it's now on 1,641.
There we go. Every little helps, as Tesco's will say. Next week we'll be back to Wednesday. We might even have a full complement of the usual foursome, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that because someone's bound to be missing next week. So back to normal next week.
Got to take a break after holding a fort for so long.
You didn't hold any fort last week. You buggered off as well.
And
you didn't hold any fort this week because I had to come back and step in.
Well, yeah. Okay. I didn't hold the fort, but I did really. Anyway, thanks for joining, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And enjoy your football wherever you're going over the next 7 days. And we'll see you back here next Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Bye-bye.